Well, we're going off to Tsekkoslovakia, first of all, for the second round of the World Championship 500cc class. The first round was held in the States, as you may remember. Maybe you don't. It was pretty much cleaned up by Jean-Michel Bayle. Fantastic scenery here, look at this. And a wonderful, wonderful course laid out here. And plenty of action for the visitors here to have a great day out. And it's a big occasion for them, any World Championship action. Of course, they're very motorcycle orientated anyway over here. So we're going to have a chat first of all with Billy Lyles. Races on a Belgian license.
Year of Billy Lyles.
I hope so. We started well in America, and it's going well here, and I have to use my head and stay on the bike and make points each and every race.
You feel more confident than last year?
Much more. I have a lot of confidence in my mechanic, my machinery, and my new team. Everything is working really well, and I'm really happy.
The main battle is between the English and the Belgian riders. Now, what are you, an Englishman or a Belgian? Or you still keep the American flag waving?
I ride on a Belgian license with both a Belgian and an English sponsor. I have a lot of supporters from Belgium, a lot from England, and also a lot from America. So I guess in one way I'm an American at heart, but also I have a lot of followers from Britain and also from Belgium.
So there we are, that's what it looks like after round one. Jean-Michel Bayle way out there, look. Matisavic, second. Billy Lyles, Giorgio Bay, last year's champ, of course, fourth. British interest, Kurt Nickel, going very, very well in training, as did Mervyn Anstey, as did Brian Wheeler. Look at that layout. This is a superb course, beautifully prepared, but very unusual. There's a very hard left-hander that zooms straight uphill. And a lot of the riders are finding this climbing and dropping circuit through the trees very unusual and quite difficult to cope with. So, Carlo Hulsen, the Dutch national champion, didn't even qualify for this event here. Stuart Cole was very very fast in practice. British rider, and the other British riders, of course, Jared Smith, Scott Eastwood, Jeremy Watley, Mervyn Anstey, Brian Wheeler. But right now, Kurt Nickel is in third position, looking very strong. Nana Zemun is out of it, no problems, I don't think. It's interesting to see how KTM are going really well. There's Franco Rossi on a KTM as well, in the lead at the moment. And Georges Jobet, wow, look at the lead he's got already. Rossi, extraordinary. Kurt Nickel moves up into second place. Now the KTM riders have been dogged with anxieties and problems about the future of the KTM works. At the moment it seems okay, and the team looks as if it's stronger than ever. More about that later, but let's just see whether Kurt Nickel can make up any of the lead that Franco Rossi has already pulled out. 13 laps here, 3 heats, of course. And going through there was Joel Smets. And number 1, of course, is Georges Jobet. Number 2 is Jackie Martens with the Luxembourg license. And we can see Jobet having a real go at Ronnie Voistenrad, who led brilliantly from the start, and now Jobet has moved up past Ronnie Voistenrad. Johan Bourne is going well. It's quite a hard circuit, this. I mean, the surface is quite hard, as opposed to being sandy. But it really does provide fabulous spectator access to the sport here. All the hills give wonderful views back down into the valleys and great sweeping curves. You can hear the Husqvarna of Jackie Martins going past there, that totally distinctive noise. But look how distinctive a ride this is by number 100, Franco Rossi from Italy. And the KTM looking immensely strong here in Czechoslovakia. There's Kurt Nickel. This looks like a brilliant ride by Kurt Nickel. He's been going so well in training. Georges Jobet is chasing him hard on the Honda, but at the moment it's KTM, Rossi, KTM, Nickel, Honda, Jobet, Kawasaki, Vuistenrad, Jackie Martins on his Husqvarna. So, here he is riding brilliantly, taking that checkered flag. Kurt Nickel gets a fantastic second place. Jobet ends up in third after pulling back from not a very good start. Johan Boonen, funnily enough, manages a fourth place, and Ronnie Vuistenrad manages a fifth. Now then, other British interests. Mervyn Anstey managed 11th, and Brian Wheeler 14th, also on a KTM. 3 KTMs in the top 14. That's what the result looks like after the first heat. We're going to be showing you the other 2 heats later on in this program. But exciting, funny things have been happening in Czechoslovakia. We're going to have a look at the second heat of the second round of the 500cc World Championship Motocross. Carlo Hulsen, the fastest man in Holland. No one can keep up with him in Holland. And our question is, what happened, Carlo? You didn't even manage to qualify here in Czechoslovakia. And he's such a modest, relaxed guy. He said, the opposition in Holland really isn't strong enough. I come here into a World Championship round, and I find that the guys are so good, so fast, the teams are so well prepared.
Ook niet dat hij me niet zou liggen, denk ik, maar het is
the track is really excellent. He said I've no complaints about that.
Je gaat flink omhoog en omlaag. En ik denk dat wij de grootste...
A lot of up and down too, which is strange for me.
Het grootste aantal secondes in het omhoog gaan.
We don't have a lot of the deep sand and stuff. We're not used to these big drop-offs either.
Een beetje groot hart hebben ze nu dan.
Soms wel, ja. Maar normaal is dat toch groot genoeg, dat is niet het probleem. Maar,
they're saying, is that difficult when you like come on drop off down a big hill? He says, yeah, you have to sort of take a breath and go for it. Really commit yourself to the hilly sections. Sometimes I wasn't really fast enough going down.
En nu de eerste beste Grand Prix sta je ernaast, dus dat is wel even slikken.
Well, you got to hand it to Carlo. I mean, he wasn't miffed. He must be miffed, but let's get on with the action as we move on to the second heat. A fantastic line out there. A brilliant start by Kurt Nickel. Kurt Nickel, you'll remember, did it very, very well in the first heat with an excellent second place. And we're looking to see whether we can get the old Union Jack flying in this heat as well. The 2 KTMs brilliantly prepared. Franco Rossi came first. And look at Kurt Nickel, he's in the lead. He really has got the bit between his teeth. He loves this course, he loves the surface conditions, and the KTM seems to love everything about the circuit. Georges Jobet, Billy Lyles, and even Jeremy Watley is doing quite well. It was a bit sad in the first heat. Jeremy Watley only managed 2 laps. Gerard Smith only managed 6, and did Scott Eastwood. Stuart Coyle managed 10, and then blew it. Right, back with the action. Jobet is third, Kurt Nickel still in the lead and improving his lead. Look at this battle for second place. Georges Jobet, number 1 on the left. And he hammers through past Franco Rossi. Now there's a battle royal for second and third. And the KTM, I think, is a little more competitive than the Honda on this type of circuit. And my word, Franco Rossi looks as if he's got the bit between his teeth and he's chasing really hard. Marcus Hansen now, also in the battle. There's the 3 of them. And Marcus Hansen is in second place. But Kurt Nickel well out of problems at the moment, well out in front and hoping to keep it that way. Look at the lead he's got over these 3 who are still battling for podium honours. And look at the crowds turning out at this superb circuit in Czechoslovakia for the second round of the World 500cc Motocross Championship. And you can hear the Husqvarna of Jackie Martins going through. Franco Rossi now regaining his second place and pulling away from Joel Smet and Marcus Hansen. And Jeremy Watley is up there in the top 10 at the moment. Keep your eye out for his number 12 Honda. But my word, Kurt Nickel. There's Jackie Martins. We wondered where he was. Kurt Nickel, after so much indecision about KTM, they got into terrible financial troubles at the end of last year. Nobody knew whether they were going to survive. A group of Swiss financiers and KTM importing agencies got together, created a sort of a management buyout situation to try and maintain some sort of European competitors that would beat the great Japanese invasion of Honda and Kawasaki and Suzuki. And not that there are many Suzukis, of course, involved in the 500cc classes. And my word, Kurt Nickel waited and waited and waited to see if he even had a works to be a works rider for, and it's paid off for him here in this second round of the World Championships. A second place in Heat 1, Moto 1, and it looks as if he's got a first place in Heat 2 at the moment. Now, Franco Rossi looks as if he's going to have a second place, so won't it be fabulous for KTM with 1-2 and 2-1? Quite extraordinary stuff here. Jackie Martins still with that wonderful sounding Husqvarna going well at this stage. And they really are giving it a good battle, aren't they? As Jeremy Watley there is trying to maintain his position, and he's not afraid of closing the door. Jeremy Watley from the UK on that inside line there. And he's just hammering through and saying, get out of my way, boy, he says. I'm up here in sixth position and I intend to keep on to it. Very mature riding by Watley, whose Honda seems to be going well at the moment. Kurt Nickel still out in front. And the crowd loving his exciting riding. He's got such a great aggressive style when he gets out there in front. And my word, if this is the end of 500cc motocross, which it could very well be, then it'll be interesting to see how the KTM 250cc machines look, which they're testing at the moment. Oh, a bit dodgy there. Billy Lyles took it a little bit wildly there, and that's Marcus Hansen on his Kawasaki from Sweden. So Jackie Martin still going through, and Jeremy Watley in seventh, and he's having a good battle with Jürgen Nielsen, number 111 on a Kawasaki. So good mix-up out in front there, but Kurt Nickel, oh, Jackie Martins is out of it. That means Jeremy Watley then goes up into sixth position. So what has happened to the Husqvarna, the distinctive four-stroker? And my word, Kurt Nickel gets the fastest lap. Kurt Nickel gets first position in the second heat after second position in the first heat. KTM 1 and 2 twice running. Take a breath. We'll be back in a mo. Well, we're back in Czechoslovakia for the final heat of the second round of the World Championship, 500cc, for the
What do you think about this
third
track?
race.
You can
We
say
have a
it in
chat with
Swedish.
Marcus Hansen.
Ja, det är en riktig
And we asked him
naturbana
what he thought of the circuit, and he's telling us in
kurvor som
Swedish
inte vi har i
he likes the
Sverige, och
circuit.
Det är en väldigt svår bana, men den är perfekt för oss svenskar.
He says it's good for
So you
me,
think that you can
very
win here?
similar to the courses we
Ja,
got in
jag tror
Sweden.
det.
Do you think you can win here?
Så får vi se vad som händer.
Well, we're going to have a go, he said. I like the curves and the hills. Now,
Why do you think
Mortensen.
that there is not so many riders anymore in the 500 class, and that a lot of the boys move to the 250?
I don't know, but sometimes it seems for me like in the 500, a factory cannot hire a rider and give him a special bike with many horsepower and be sure that he'll be in the top 3 or whatever. But in the 125 and 250 class, it's still at a small advance to have a factory bike. They have a few horsepower more, and then they can hire a rider and be sure that he's in the top. In 500, it's so difficult because it's not so much the power of the motor, it's more to bring the power to the ground. It's difficult, so.
Laying it down on the ground. Here we go, where they're all going to be trying to lay that power down as they come out of the traps and roar off towards that left-hander. That's exciting shot as they zoom up that hill. And we're, of course, all eyes on Franco Rossi and Kurt Nickel, who did so well getting KTM's 1 and 2 in the first 2 heats, and my word, they're out there again. I cannot believe what a good outing Kurt Nickel is having this weekend. Other British interest in the second heat, incidentally, Jeremy Watley was awarded 6, Gerard Smith 13, and Mervyn Anstey 15. So Dirk Gerkens goes down, that's a shame, isn't it? And Jackie Martins Husqvarna went out in lap 7, so he's going to be looking to appease himself now. As he goes around, Billy Lyles is number 5 there. Quite a lot of dust, it's very dry here in Czechoslovakia, but the crowd putting up with the dust just to see the action as Kurt Nickel and Franco Rossi do their old 1-2 side by side. The crowd cheering him on. And it's he took a wide line round there, Rossi, and Kurt Nickel kept his head and maintained the inside line, powering himself around. He's in such good form, and the KTM just loving the conditions here. So, Jean-Michel Bale, of course, not here. It would be interesting to see how... Whoa! Giorgio Bay's gone down. I couldn't see who that was. Giorgio Bay has gone down after managing 3rd in both the first and the second heats. Now then, you know what happens to Joe Bay, many times world champion. Let's have a look, see what happens. Once he falls, he just mistimes the old jump a bit. Okay, we didn't really see why he went down, but it's still Franco Rossi out in front. Kurt Nickel chasing hard. Rossi goes round on the outside. It really is a great battle, these two machines, absolutely stroke for stroke, CC for CC, horsepower for horsepower, gear for gear, side by side. And these riders know each other's styles so well. Kurt Nickel just casting an eye over his shoulder to make sure he hasn't got anybody creeping up behind him, but Giorgio Bay is way behind and battling his way through past Jürgen Nielsen and Johan Boonen and Joel Smets. And Jeremy Watley is in the top 15, as is Jared Smith, and the Hondas and the Kawasaki. Those two boys are pretty much side by side at the moment as well. So it's exciting stuff for the Brits here in Czechoslovakia. And 17 is Joel Smets. They come round one of these big sweeping hills down into a left-hander, and through goes Jeremy Watley, number 12 we just saw. Number 19 is Jared Smith, and number 6 is Joe Martins, being concentrated on by our Dutch director, of course, because Dutch and Belgian championships is Belgian and Dutch championships sort of hand in hand. Very important stuff, very different riding for the Dutch and the Belgians. Of course, they're used to sand riding. That's what they're wonderful experts on. And 67 is Marcus Hansen there on his Kawasaki. And 17, Joel Smets. And Giorgio Bay powering he's in 6th position already. That's incredible. Because he fell and he'd hurt his arm, we thought, but it doesn't seem to have made any difference as he powered his way back up through the field. But right now, we're looking at Franco Rossi riding this race from the front. And the KTM seems as if they've come right just at the right time, beginning of the season. And Kurt Nickel seems pretty much content with his 2nd place at the moment. They'll get max points, will KTM. Now, Joubert, what's he up to? That's Kurt Nickel, obviously, but Giorgio Bay is having a real battle with 1-1-1, Jürgen Nielsen and Johan Boonen. Billy Lyles is in 3rd place. And there's Jürgen Nielsen now. Extraordinary, Joubert takes on the inside Marcus Hansen. And just behind him is Jeremy Watley. I don't think we'll get a chance to see him because this is where the excitement is now. Chris Jacobs has gone over. Franco Rossi and Kurt Nickel have got it sewn up, but Giorgio Bay is not giving in. Here he's starting to attack now, Jürgen Nielsen. And he's going to, well, a little bit slow going through there, but, oh, and another little falter from Giorgio Bay. But Giorgio Bay has the tenacity of a bulldog. There's the race leader back there again, and Giorgio Bay willing his Honda every last percentage of a horsepower to try and compete with the Kawasaki of Jürgen Nielsen. This is still the race leader, taking that checkered flag. Kurt Nickel comfortably in second place. A brilliant 1-2 again for KTM. A brilliant second place for Kurt Nickel. You can't ask more than 2 second places and a win, can you? And that puts him in second place in the championship. George Jobet, look at that. Managed a third place in this third heat. Brilliant riding. So, George Jobet leading, Kurt Nickel chasing him hard, Billy Lyles third, Franco Rossi fourth, Jean-Michel Bale still on fifth. Well, while the 500cc